everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Booze Geek. My name is Chuck. I am your host, and on this episode, we are going to be traveling to the Pacific Northwest, to Seattle, Washington, to Elysian Brewing. And since it is that time of year, it's officially autumn, we're in the middle of Oktoberfest, it's harvest season, all that fun stuff. We're going to be tasting and reviewing one of their seasonal beers. This is their Night Owl Pumpkin Ale. Now, this was actually Elysian's first attempt at creating a pumpkin beer. And this beer here, this clocks in at 6.7 ABV, which, in my opinion, is a little bit high for a pumpkin beer. And it's got an IBU of 18. And that has to do with just a little bit of bittering from some Magnum hops. Now, since it is autumn, it's autumn, but it's 100 degrees outside, so it doesn't really feel like autumn. I'm just going to crack this open and, let's start this review. A little bit of smoke there from the bottle, just a little bit, not too much. Give this a nice little pour here. I do like the color on this. It's got a nice dark amber, almost a dark burnt orange. Very nice. Carbonation is really, really low. A very, very thin veil. It's not even a veil, it's just a very thin layer on top. But let's give this a swirl and give it a nose. It's definitely opening up a little bit more as I swirl it too, which is nice. Okay, so I am getting some of the staple flavors. I'm getting some pumpkin, and I am getting some of the spices that I would expect. I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon, I'm getting some nutmeg, a little bit of allspice. But now here's the thing with a pumpkin beer in general. The balance of these has to be spot on. If it's not, well, you're going to have some problems, because the idea behind most pumpkin beers is that you want the aromas and you want the flavor. You want it to almost be like taking a hot, fresh pumpkin pie out of the oven with the nice aromas of the spice and of the pumpkin. And same with the flavor. When you take a nice bite of pumpkin pie, that's kind of what you want the beer to taste like as well. So with that being said, if the balance is off, you're going to have some problems, because it's just going to kind of throw off your senses and it's going to ruin the experience. You want everything to balance out. You want that pumpkin pie flavor. So with that being said, I'm going to give this another swirl and give it a sip and see how and see how the beer does in that category. Okay. Now here's the thing. This is not a bad beer by any means. I'm getting some of the flavors. I'm getting some pumpkin. I'm getting some clove in this. And like I said, there is some cinnamon. There's definitely nutmeg. There's allspice. And it's being rounded out completely by a little bit, there's a malty sweetness there on the back end that's kind of rounding everything out. Here's my problem with the beer. While I think the balance is pretty good, I think it's lacking in the flavors. I want the flavors there. I want the flavors to be big and bold and brash. I almost want the flavors to smack me in the face and say, hey, here's my liquid pumpkin pie. I'm just not getting that. Like I said, while I think the balance is good, I'm not getting that bold rush of flavors. But it's not bad by any means. This is a solid 7.5 on the pint-o-meter. I think it's a great attempt. I think they did a good job with the balance. I just wish the flavors there were bumped up a notch and bigger and bolder. And then for me personally, I also think, like I said, I think the ABV is a little high for this one. So those are the reasons why I'm giving it a 7.5. But it's a seasonal. It's a good seasonal. I would recommend it. And go out and pick yourself up a 6-pack. And with all that being said, I'm going to have one more swig, because I said it's 100 degrees out. And as always, you can follow me at the website, which is www.pubstohaveapintin.com, or at the blog, which is www.pubshaveapintin.blogspot.com. And with that being said, have a happy October. Prost. Have a great one. We'll see you soon. Enjoy. Prost.